What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'll be uncovering 10 hidden Easter eggs in old school RuneScape. Easter eggs are unexpected, undocumented pieces of content that Jagex have added to the game as a joke or a hidden message. There are hundreds of them in old school, and even in newer updates, Jagex still adds more and more hidden Easter eggs. There's a lot of pop culture references in the game, like there's a trapdoor underneath Cerberus, which is a reference to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, where there's the three-headed dog guarding a trapdoor. There's a bonfire at the Wintertodt with a sword going through it, which references Dark Souls. In this video, I'll be focusing on the Easter eggs that have more visual effects and spawn new NPCs rather than the simple pop culture references. Roaming around the entirety of Fossil Island is a squirrel named Maz. He can be a little tricky to find since he can be almost anywhere on the island, but once you do find him, if you use an acorn on him, he'll follow you around like a pet. You can take him anywhere around Fossil Island, and even if you run out of view, he'll still be following you far in the distance. Interestingly, if you go off Fossil Island by the boat, then return back to the island, he'll still be following you. But if you teleport in any way, he stops. An example of an Easter egg that Jagex has added very recently is with the new settings panel. In the search bar, there's lots of Easter eggs. If you type in Winter 2017, it says mobile coming soon. If you type in cheat, it says bank. If you type RNG, it tells you there's no settings for RNG and that you just need to get along with it. If you type the answer to life, it says 42, which is a reference to Douglas Adams' book. You can type AQP and it comes out with W, and you can type 73 and it returns a smiley face. Before I show more Easter eggs, I have a word from today's video sponsor, Ridge Wallet. Ridge Wallets are sleek, light, industrial wallets that won't leave a bulge in your pocket and easily fit in your front pockets too. They hold up to 12 cards at once, plus there's a clip on the back to hold your cash. There's over 30 colors and styles available, including carbon fiber and the one I personally have, titanium. It's the perfect gift for Christmas too, and with over 40,000 5-star reviews, you really can't go wrong. So get your hands on one today. Head over to ridge.com/Theoatrix or click the link down in the description. Be sure to also use the coupon code Theoatrix to save 10% off your first order. Thanks to Ridge Wallet for sponsoring this video. In old school, many of the bosses drop jars, very rarely as a bit of a troll drop. And basically all of these jars have hidden Easter eggs attached. Some of the Easter eggs are very subtle, and some of them haven't even been discovered yet. With a Jar of Dreams, if you have it in your inventory while you cast the Lunar Dream spell, a jump scare appears on your screen of the Nightmare boss, and it also has the Armadillo crossbow special attack sound. If you take a Jar of Souls to the Soul Altar on Zeah and use it on the altar, an NPC called Sister Souljar appears next to you. This is a reference to the American musician and author Sister Souljah, whose 10th album was called How You Sell Soul to a Soulless People Who Sold Their Soul. You can also take the Jar of Souls to the Iron Man tutor in Lumbridge, and he tells you that he's been looking for a soul and takes one from the jar, which is a reference to people with ginger-colored hair not having souls. The Iron Man tutor's name is Adam, and I'm not sure if this part's true, but I believe this is a reference to Boti, whose real name is Adam and is also ginger. With the Jar of Decay, you can use any type of bones on it and it decays the bones. The Jar of Eyes can be taken to Brother Ameri in the Forthos dungeon, and he gives a short dialogue of asking why you've kept creatures' eyes in a jar. With the Jar of Sand and Jar of Dirt, you can use them on each other to swap their contents, which isn't really much of an Easter egg. That's all of the jar Easter eggs that have been discovered. So I asked Modash on Twitter to see if he'd give any hints to the other jars, and he says the Jar of Miasma and Stone simply don't have one, but there's still so many that players haven't discovered yet, like the Jar of Chemicals, Swamp, Darkness, and a few others. So if you're up to the challenge, see if you can work out what their Easter eggs are. Now, the next Easter egg is one that many players know about. If you make your way to the Wilderness Volcano, all the way to the northeast of the wilderness, you can use a gold ring on the volcanic forge and a level 2 goblin appears saying, "My precious." This is an obvious reference to Gollum from Lord of the Rings. The Disc of Returning was an item introduced in the Days of RuneScape Classic. It was used to escape the black hole that players were put into as a punishment system before banning and muting was implemented. Nowadays, if you take a Disc of Returning to the Dwarven Mines in Falador and use the Activate option, you're teleported to a starry plane with an NPC named Thordor. You can also use the Blackout option on it, which takes you to a black, empty plane representing the area that players were punished in RuneScape Classic. You can also drop the Disc of Returning when you're in one of these areas, and most of the time it will say that was disappointing, but there's a very small chance that it says something cool happens. Then your character starts dancing and doing a bunch of emotes. Underneath the Hosidius house, if you take a Ring of Visibility to the Sun Altar room in the Forthos dungeon, a shaded beast will appear. If you talk to him, he tells you about his plans to take over the world. At the eastern entry to Varrock, there's a small Easter egg with the guards. If you kill all of them before any of them respawn, when that workman comes around with the wheelbarrow, instead of his usual statement, he'll say, "Oh, they're all dead." In that same area is a cleaner sweeping the place. If you leave ashes on the ground, he'll come along and sweep them up. Using the detached camera RuneLite plugin, there's a few interesting hidden texts that you can find. If you move your camera underneath the Corporal Beast lair, there's Corp written in tiles. If you go underneath the Chasm of Fire on Zaya, there's text saying Chasm of Fire. I'm not sure whether these were intentional, but perhaps they were just used as references for Jagex during the development stages. At God Wars, there's Noob written out beside a slain adventurer as well, and this one surely wasn't used for development, it's just a bit of a joke. Anyways guys, that's a range of interesting Easter eggs in Old School. There's still many out there that haven't been discovered by players yet, so if you have time and want a challenge, go out and try to find some. Particularly for the jars, there's definite Easter eggs that are yet to be found. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. A reminder to check out Ridge Wallet for the perfect Christmas gift. The link is down in the description. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.